welcome back. I'm Joe. Glad you could stop in. I thought I'd make a little video of replacing the spindle bearings on the little Sheldon lathe here. I know there's a lot of videos showing the south bends. Great following on them, so stands to reason there's a lot of videos on that. But I haven't seen anything on the Sheldon. Maybe on the Sheldon groups over there in Yahoo. But anyway, maybe it'll help somebody out, and that's what we're going to do. So I'll go get the bearing, well, the cone first. We're going to press in the cone to the small end, and then I'll get the other cone and we'll press it in the large end. I got them in the freezer right now, so shouldn't be much of a press really. All right, more of a tight slip fit. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I'll see you in a few. Thanks. All right, so like I said, the cone was in the freezer, and it's definitely nice and cold, so it should have shrunk up as much as it'll do it. I'm going to stick a little spindle oil in here just to help it slide in, give it a little lubrication, and maybe even ward off any rust from the condensation after being in the freezer. Just give this a little turn. Check. See how you're lined up. Yeah, okay. I made this puller for another job we were doing. It works pretty well, so we'll see how it does on this little spindle. It's a press, all right. I didn't think it was going to be that tight. That's all right. Gotta get this aligned so it goes in to the housing and leave too much clearance there, just enough. There we go. Yeah, looks like maybe 3/16 of an inch more. Half an inch, I don't know, it's hard to tell. Well, feels like it's home. Yeah. That looks good. I'll bring you in so you can see. You know, you really can't see too much, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna put my glasses on here so I can see a little better. Okay. So, like I say, it's hard to see in there, but it looks like there's a gap here. There is, but down at the bottom, on the back side, there's a little shoulder. And I think the reason for that is so you can get a puller in here when you want to take the cone out. So, that's the story there. You know what, I'll before I put that in there, I took this oil cup off, cleaned it all out. There's crud in there and stuff from years of, you know, neglect, not getting cleaned out. And there's an oil passage. It goes through here, and you can see this is a little bit, this leads into where they drilled through. And I guess it's the kind of like a vacuum sort of, once it starts spinning, it kind of sucks up the oil into the bearing. So you can see it better over here on the front one. That's coming through right from this guy. So, alright, put a little oil in here, I guess, and I'll get the other cone and we'll see how that goes. You know what, I'm feeling wow, quite an edge here. I'm going to take a minute and get that. There's quite a burr here. It's strange. So yeah, I'm going to get that off of there and clean that up, and then we'll put the other bearing in, or the other cone rather. Alright, we'll see you in a minute. Alright, I'm back with the other cone. Put some oil in here. I got this all cleaned up. All the chips are out. Blew out the oil passage. And I think we're ready to go. So, we have a serious problem here. That cone is way too big. Son of a gun. Alrighty, so much for that. We're gonna have to send that back, and I'll have to give them a dimension. I gave them dimensions. I should have checked. Alright, I guess that's about as far as we can go with that. Just zoom back out, and you know, I'll just while I'm here thinking of it, you know, this little puller, it's nothing really high tech. It's just a 3/4 10 threaded rod, and I turn these so that they slip in. Just, you see, just a little, ever so slight clearance, you know, just so you can get in there. And it worked really well. I used this on a 17-inch claw sink. We had to pull the spindle out of that machine. It's a 17 by 60-inch lathe. And it worked good. I mean, it took a lot more muscle than it did on this little guy, but anyway. So, you know, this is what they call the cone on these angular contact type bearings. Here's the bearing, this is a cone. You want to get them, you know, in sets so that they're matched. I was told by the distributor they come in 1, 2, 3, and 0 class. He said I wanted the class 3. It's a tighter tolerance bearing, and I asked him about the 0, and he said that was for CNCs. So, I mean, I'm thinking it's just that it holds up to higher RPMs, you know, faster spindle speeds. So, I just thought I'd throw that out there. All right, well, we'll pick this up when I get the other cone in, and take it from there. All right, so we ordered the right cone, and it came in. So we'll give this another shot here. It's quite cold, to say the least. center that up a little bit more. Hopefully it'll go through nicely. Oh, let's see, we're spinning down here now. All right. I'll get Junior over here. That should hold it. And I'm going to have to move that aluminum disc. It's sticking out below the bottom edge here, so that's all right. All right, I would say that's home. Okie dokie. So normally the next thing we would do is get the bearings and put them onto the spindle. But after a closer inspection, there was a pulley assembly that mates with the, I'll call it a bull gear, for the back gear drive. And in there was some bushings that were, in my opinion, quite worn. I don't have the pulley assembly here, but these are the bushings that came out of it. So I ordered a bushing and it came in, and without too much surprise on my part, it was wrong. So I ordered another one and that came in right. So we have the 1 3/8 OD already. I'm going to have to bore this out and cut these little oil passages in here. I think I'm just going to set up the south bend for the coarsest thread I can make and see what that looks like, and hope that works out. So, you know, you can see the wall thickness is going to be pretty thin. So what I'm going to do, I got a piece of aluminum tubing over there. I'm going to bore it out so that we can hold this inside that aluminum tube. And once I get the size right, I'll cut it off and I'll slit it. And it'll probably close up a little bit, so I might have to bore out the aluminum tube again, just so I can hold this, so that this way, you know, it won't get crushed by the 3-jaw chuck. You know, once we get close to this size, it'll keep its shape, you know. And after that, after this is bored out to the 1 3/16 for the spindle, I'm going to slip it onto an expansion arbor and just see if I can't dust the OD here a little bit. Got a little variance in size. I have a feeling this is a used bearing. I could be wrong, but it looks like it was in something. I see some little hammer marks here. You probably can't see it, but you know, I don't know if the light's catching it all right, but I'll have to mic it up and see if we really have room to do that. So I guess that'll be the next thing we do before we put the spindle in, because really that's going to be the next thing that goes on. So, all right, until then, that's about as far as we can go here. I'll take this off the tripod and just show you a few things I did. Just a little cleaning up. I had used some stuff I got at Napa. It was for gears, and it was supposed to be like an anti-slinging oil. And maybe I put too much on, but it's still slung it around pretty good. So what I did, I degreased this. WD-40 has like a degreaser, and for Father's Day I got a gift coupon for Home Cheapo, and so I figured, you know, let me pick up some stuff with that, and I got some WD-40, the degreaser, and another. It's a gel lubricant sort of. It sprays it on. And then, you know, it's supposed to gel up and not sling around. So we'll see how that works out. I put it on the gears already in this gearbox here. I cleaned that out and sprayed it on. So we'll see how it works. The other thing I'd like to address too is I noticed there's a bushing in here, and it's got play in it. It's worn. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but there is play. Let's try it this way. Yeah, you can see that. I mean, I know it's a big diameter and all, but I feel that's a little excessive. So if we can tighten that up a little bit, I think that would be nice. And we'll take it from there. So, until we start boring out that aluminum tube, I think that'll be it for over here. Alright, so we're over here at the south bend. What we're going to do is just turn the OD on the tubing. Just about that long. That's more than long enough for the bushing. Alright, the bushing is like 3.5. So we're going to stick it in. Once that's cleaned up, we'll part it off, bore it out, and have it maybe a little over about an 1.5 inches or something sticking out. Something that I can indicate, you know, to make sure everything is as in line as possible. So I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me when the lathe is on, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, I'll put the phone up on the tripod and see what we can see.
A little more. Getting the ideal chip, but we weren't taking that much off, like 25 thousandths maybe. So it wasn't really getting into the chip breaker on the insert. about 115 thousandths to come out of there. So let's see what, this is really the first real job I'm doing on this machine. Just played around with it a little before, you know, cuts and whatnot. So. Well, I can tell you now, I'm not too crazy about these Chinese boring bores. And they came with the lathe, so I give them a shot, but I don't know. Not too thrilled with them. Take another 50. Even the inserts, I mean, you can see it's like tearing them. Oh boy, what are you gonna do? I guess we'll just go with a lighter cut.